Hi everyone, this video is to show you some best practices for reviewing an assessment with your students. And so the first thing that you're going to want to do is if you scroll down to the bottom of a setup, so you've opened the assessment as if you're going to edit it, and then you go to the setup tab, which we're currently on. The default for many of you, I'm assuming, is going to be this no, which means that students cannot view their responses after they submit the assessment. And so they're not able to reopen the exam at any point. You'll see in my student view that I do not even have an action to view it. I can see the score that I got, the number of points, but I'm not able to open it and look at the questions or my responses. And so when reviewing with students, you probably want to allow them to see what they either submitted or see the correct answer so they know what they got wrong. And so there are other options for you. So you would go into your setup and you would change this from no to yes. And when I save that, you'll notice in the student view that I now have this view option, which allows me to open up the assessment, re-see the questions, and anything that's highlighted is my personal response, what I submitted on the assessment. This is fine if you're going to go over it together in class and you're going to give them the correct answers verbally, things like that, right? And so you'll notice that on a 2-point question like this one, I got one of them wrong. I only got 1 out of 2 points, but I don't know which one it is. So if you want students to be able to know if you have multi-part questions, for instance, and you want them to know where exactly they went wrong, you can choose yes with correct answers, and then when they go into this and view it again, they'll see the correct answers are marked in green and the incorrect answers are marked in red. So the yellow is what I submitted, and this is or the red is what I submitted and the yellow is the correct answer. So that tells students what it should have been. Something to keep in mind is that Lockdown Browser is something that you can add on to the review. And so if you have an assessment that is requiring Lockdown Browser, just like that, then if you ask students to review the assessment, it will prompt them to view their responses in Lockdown Browser. And so it's going to prompt them to open Lockdown Browser, and that's the only way for them to view the assessment. This is helpful because it prevents screenshots, copy pasting, all of that good stuff. Obviously, one thing to keep in mind is that when entering Lockdown Browser, things can get a little glitchy, so you may want to stagger their entry, have one set of students log in, open their assessment, then the next set of students, so on. And so once students are done reviewing, what we recommend is going back into the assessment. Actually, the first thing you should do is probably ask students to close the tab that they were looking at the assessment on. And so have them show you their laptops and close it, because if you change the student settings while they are still in the tab and it's still open, they will still be able to press the view button and access it before they refresh the page. And so have them close their tab, change it back to no, and then click save. And then when they refresh, they'll no longer have the option to open it again. And that's what we recommend.